Hello, welcome to episode 27 of the Coffee Yarn and Dinosaurs podcast. My name is Ruth, and I will be talking to you today about fiber arts, knitting, crocheting, a little bit of spinning, sort of, and some yarn dyeing. I don't have much time, so I'm just going to jump right into this. I have not finished any projects in 2 weeks since the last time that we spoke. Alas, I've started a bunch though. It has been one of those periods where I just want to cast on all the things and I want to start all of the projects. And even though I have a whole bunch of project bags, you can't see them, they're up there. Even though I have a bunch of project bags up there, I keep casting on new stuff. I don't know, I just do. Okay, so let me show you first what I've been working on. Some of these will be new cast-ons, some of them will not. First one is a new cast on, and I'm really excited about it. This is a new pattern that was just released yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. It's called Deal Me In by Talitha Kuomi. Look at that. It's gonna be a hat, in case you couldn't tell. Look at that. Just all these pretty cables. And one of the reasons I'm so excited about this is because this is yarn that I dyed. This is my Carnival Nights colorway, and it's on my Polworth DK base. And I'm really, really excited to be knitting up my own yarn. I've set a goal for myself for this year that I want to knit my own yarn more. So this is, let me show you in the skein. So from the colors in the skein, I was expecting like this golden brown to be more prevalent than it actually is knitted up. Because look at this, knitted up, I've got my whole hand in the way, don't I? It looks way more pink and purple. And I'm just really, really excited because it's not pooling, right? Like look at this, all of this variegation and the colors aren't pooling. I just love how they stack up on each other. Like I'm just really enjoying seeing which colors land where, and I can't even express to you. I'm so excited to actually be knitting with yarn that I dyed. And the reason why I haven't knit with it a lot in the past, and I see a lot of dyers do the same thing, is we kind of get this mindset that like this is for selling, not for knitting. Like this isn't my stash. This is yarn that's business yarn. This is not my stash. This is business yarn. This is stash. This is stash. This is stash. That's business yarn. So I'm trying to get past that and actually use yarns that I've dyed. We'll put that back later. So yes, Deal Me In by Talitha Kuomi. It's just a really nice, quick knit, a DK hat. And yes, I'm knitting a hat in the middle of summer. Thank you very much. So, next project. I'm just opening project bags over here. I know I've been working on stuff. Oh, yes. Next project, you're gonna see a lot of socks. Lots of socks. Is a pair of my Bad Wolf Bay socks. And these, they are top-down socks, obviously, seeing as there is a top of a sock right there. And I decided to do the heel flap version on this. It has a square heel turn, which is my favorite. Look at that. Just this nice, easy square heel turn and gusset. And the other option in the pattern is that you could do them with an afterthought heel. So if you're traveling or you don't know who you're making them for yet and you just want to make them and you'll put the heel in later, the pattern has the option for an afterthought heel as well. I used a tubular cast on, which I really, really enjoyed. Did I weave in the ends already? No, I did not. Okay, that's why it looks wrinkly. I did a tubular cast on, which is what the pattern calls for, what I call for as I wrote the pattern. And I really, really enjoy it for ankle socks because it gives a lot of stretch. And before you weave in the tail, right, you can stretch it to the width you need it to finish up at, because there is a strand that runs through the top cuff And I find that really, really helpful for things like ankle socks or unknown recipients or people with wide feet or whatever. It's just a really good sock cast on. So I'm getting partway through that. The yarn is, let me pull it out, Moonstone Dyeworks. It's labeled as self-striping, and I guess technically those are stripes, but they're very subtle stripes. You won't see like the hard edge. You know how in some ooh, you know what? Let me see if I have the sock. I do. Okay. So look, now I have to find a color change in this sock. Of course, when I want to show you guys a color change, I cannot find a color change. What is wrong with me? I do not know. The world may never know. All right, so just take my word for it. There's, you know, some self-striping socks, like so. Oh, look, there it is. Okay, there we go. Do you see how you can see right where it switches from red to pink? You can see it in there. It's red, 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 pink. This yarn is not like that. It's more of a subtle change from pink to gray and gray to pink. So yeah, these I picked up because my 2-year-old decided to injure herself. That required a trip to the emergency room, and she's fine. She's fine. She's in a splint, but she's fine. And of course, instead of grabbing one of my project bags, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna bring needles and a ball of yarn because I was not thinking clearly and I was going to the emergency room. So here we have another pair of socks cast on, and I'm just doing them as ankle socks. It's just half a pattern repeat before I do the heel. So, and it's a really easy repeat. It's just zigzags. So I need to adjust this camera. I am used to having it way lower and way farther away so you can actually see my hands. All right, that's better. We can all see me. Look, I can hold things up now and yes, we can see me. This is good. Okay, much better. So socks, yes. Oh, I have more socks to show you because, you know, apparently, even though I have issues with second sock syndrome and finishing the second sock, I feel the need to cast on multiple socks and don't at all have the problem with, you know, doing 2 different patterns of socks at the same time. So these are some socks for my husband. He requested some hand knit socks. He was like, hey, did you know that there's this really cool fiber and it's moisture wicking and it's whatever, and it's merino. Wool socks. So after a couple years of me offering to knit him socks, he now actually would like wool socks. So this is a pattern of mine. I'm just doing, when I say this is a pattern, I mean that I picked up needles and I picked up a stitch dictionary and I was like, yep, that'll work. So once it's stretched out on his foot, it's gonna be just kind of that fun, checkered, textured look. Yeah, so I'm doing a toe up with a heel flap and gusset, and I don't usually do that. Usually on toe up I do a short row heel, but I wanted something fun to experiment with. So I am going to do a actual heel flap and gusset with a rounded turn instead of a square turn, and I'm going to try German short rows on the turn. I have never done German short rows before. Usually I do wrap and turn. And so the difference is that with a German short row, you knit all the way to the stitch that you want to be the turn. You turn and then you pull the yarn over so it makes a double stitch. And then on your way back, you knit those 2 stitches together. So it kind of makes it like a wrap, but not really. And you don't have to do the whole picking up wrap things. Apparently it is a superior method. Who knew? So this yarn is Bumblebee Acres, and it is their Corriedale base. I don't think I have the tag for this anymore. No, I don't, because it was one of their, I think they do a club, I haven't checked in a while, that you have to resubscribe to monthly, and I believe it was the Lord of the Rings club a couple months ago, not a couple months ago, it was like 6 months ago, at least. Anyway, it's pretty. It's like a pastel, lots of different blues, very subtle. I believe this had something to do with Boromir. It's yarn. This is definitely not merino. I'm gonna go with Corriedale. I think it's Corriedale. It's not Cormo. So it's a little bit sturdier than merino. Like merino is very soft, and this is not rough. Like I can still put this on my face, so it's soft enough. I don't know that I would want it on my neck. This is how I test out how I want to use yarns, by the way. I just kind of like, yep, that'll work. And so yeah, it's pretty soft. It's pretty good, but it's not as soft as merino, so it will be more durable for husband socks. Project number 3. We're just playing open the bag at this point. It's good. I have not worked on this at all, and I'm debating on it. So this is the Nasha shawl. How can I show you this well? The Nasha shawl by Craft Doodling Designs. And you can see it is a center. We're at the Is Ruth Making a Thong stage of this shawl because that's what they look like, the center decrease shawls. So I am using one of my gradient yarn cakes. This is Triton. This is a 100-gram gradient. This is Triton. And I really, really like it because it's knit at a loose gauge. The only thing that throws me off is that the repeat always starts on the wrong side of the shawl. So my brain, which has been trained to start on the right side of a project, gets thrown off when I see that we are starting on the wrong side for every repeat. It's totally my fault. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. And I really like it. I just haven't picked it up to work on it in a while because my brain requires the brain power to, you know, work on the wrong side of the project. So, and apparently I'm casting on all the socks. Who knew? Last project. I am not sure whether I'm going to keep or frog, but I'm going to show you anyway because I'm enjoying the process of making it. It is this kind of funky, ooh, I'm going to drop stitches. Okay, so it is obviously unblocked. This funky, ooh, that would be interesting as a top. But it's a shawl. It is in fact a shawl. Obviously I did not increase enough right here, so this part is gonna get frogged back. But it's meant to be like a semicircular slash crescent shawl mashup, and it'll block out. And I put beads on. Lots of beads. I really, really like how this is looking though. I was thinking I was gonna frog the whole thing, and now that I see it on the video, I kind of like it. So the cool part about this is that it's gonna sit right on the back of your shoulders. So you see how that curve comes along your neck, so you don't have to worry about, crescent shawls usually bunch up at the back of the neck. Or if you wear it in the front, they bunch up at the front of the neck. But because of the shape that I'm making it in, it won't bunch up. And you can just have the nice smooth line at your neck without the scrunching and bunching. So yes, now that I see this on video, I think I am going to go back and fix the shaping. Oh, hey look, it's 24 hours later and things have changed. I did not get to finish the end of the podcast recording yesterday because, you know, I have little kids and I had to cook dinner and all that good stuff. So I'm trying to sneak in a little bit more video time right now. So, one last whip I want to show you that I had actually forgotten about yesterday is this blanket. So this is just a simple waffle pattern. This is actually somebody else's design. It's called the Arcade Waffle Blanket, something like that. I will link it. It's a free pattern on the designer's blog, and it's just this really nice, simple waffle weave, and there's gonna be like a lace arches border. So I am making this for my grandmother. She is the person who taught me how to crochet, and so I've been wanting to make her a gift, like a thank you, you know, crochet her something for a while. And guys, she taught me when I was like 10 or 12, and it has taken me this long. I'm 31. It's taken me this long to make her something, which is ridiculous. So she is in like assisted care 10 hours away from me. And of course, nobody can visit because of coronavirus and all of that. And I know that she's feeling a little bit lonely. So I wanted to make her, this is just gonna be like a lap blanket size. I think when it's finished, the pattern said it should be maybe like 44 by 44. So it's not huge, but it'll be enough to, you know, like you can't see my lap, drape on your lap and just, you know, feel like somebody loves you. So the yarn I am using for this is Loops and Threads Cream Cotton. And I'm gonna do, this one is navy. And I think I'm gonna do either a pink or a white border. I'm not quite sure. I have both of them because I picked up the yarns to try them. Ideally, I would do a gold border, which is what the pattern has, but I only have one skein of that and I'm trying to use up stash yarn. Go figure. I'll let you know how that works out. I have been tracking stash in yardage in an Excel spreadsheet, and so far for this year, I'm like 10,000 yards more purchased than used, which is ridiculous. It's at least 10,000. It might be more like 30,000. I'll check. So that's a question I have for you guys. I enjoy working from stash. I do not work from stash exclusively, obviously. So I was wondering if you guys would be interested in like working from stash together, just for fun, just for like making a project from my stash. No rules, no how long has this been in your stash, anything like that. Just let's work from stash together. If that is something you're interested in, let me know. Let me know how you track it. It would just be like a basic stash down so we could, you know, talk to each other, all of that. I do plan on doing little video kind of like stash updates to help keep myself accountable. And you'll see little videos of that on here. Basically, just let me know if you'd be interested in stash knitting, crocheting, tracking, whatever with me, because I will be doing little stash updates anyway. Speaking of stash updates, something has changed behind me. I ended up getting more storage yesterday because some of my long-term storage yarn has been in like those rubber totes, not rubber, Rubbermaid totes, and I wanted a more permanent storage place. So I went to a thrift store and got a little china hutch, like a china cabinet, and more of the yarn is in there. So part of what I did is I put my project bags up here because I want to be able to, instead of they were up there, they were all lined along the top up there. And I want to be able to remind myself that not only do I have enough stash yarn, but I also have enough projects that are already started. And so I'm going to be working on clearing this out. A lot of these you've seen before, like this is that colorwork yoke sweater, the navy and the navy. This is funny. This is a Beekeeper's quilt that I started before my oldest son was born. I will show you. For those of you who do not know, the Beekeeper's quilt is a knitted pattern, and you make these little, they're called hexapuffs, because they're hexagons, and they're stuffed, they're puffy. And then you join them all together. The pattern calls for using quilt ties so that if it gets, if one of the hexapuffs gets dirty, you can take it out, launder it, and then tie it back in. I did not want little ties all over my blanket because I feel like my kids would just pick at them and pull them out. So I have opted for sewing them together. And you can see I'm just doing it like I think they call it like a crazy quilt in quilting terms. Like I'm not arranging them in any way. I'm not making sure the stripes go the same way. I'm actually sort of intentionally making sure they don't go the same way because I like the look of it. So for a while I was pregnant with my oldest son, this is about all I was knitting. I was making maybe like 40 to 60 of these a month, including fancy ones. Like you've got the houndstooth colorwork one right here. This one has tiny cables on it. What else do I have in here that's fancy? I think these are all the plain ones, but let's see. Like this one I embroidered a little sunshine on. Checkerboard. There's one really cool one that I'm looking for. That's why I'm taking a minute to look for it, because it's really, really cool. I don't know if I already joined it. Yes! This is my favorite one. It's like a little dude on a raft, marooned on an island. And it's my favorite. So I already joined it in. Oh, yep, and this one has a braided cable on it. So it's really, really fun. It's just very time consuming to join them all together. And also this is, you know, a whole bunch of them, and it's maybe the size of a seat cushion. So I have a whole bag left of them. A whole bunch of them. I think there's like 300 total that need to be joined up to make the blanket. I just have to actually sit down and join them up to make the blanket. And then I'm not sure if I will make more and make the blanket larger, or if I will just join them all and be like, hey, ta-da, finish the blanket in 10 years or 8 years or whatever, which is ridiculous. So that's part of why I have this out here, so I can remind myself, hey, you have these projects. Let's see. What else? What's in this one? I think this is my oldest whip. Yes, it is. Okay, so this is my oldest whip. This is an Aeolian shawl from Knitty. I don't know. It could be like 2005. And it's really, really pretty. It's got all of this, you know, like beading in and noops and, or nups, or however you say it, noops, nups. Anyway, and I really, really love it. And I'm pretty sure that I'm only about 2 lace repeats from the end. But this is all the yarn that I have left, and it's a discontinued yarn. It is Patton's Lace, and it's a sport weight yarn, and I think it's something like acrylic and mohair, but this is all I have left. So I'm, part of the reason I haven't picked it up, mohair is shedding, is A, because it's, you know, I only have this much left and I'm kind of playing like a 15-year-old game of yarn chicken. And B, because these are all the beads that I have left. That's it. Yes, in an Altoids tin. Altoids tins are awesome for holding beads. So I don't want to frog it because it's a lot of work and it's really, really pretty, but I'm also a little concerned about picking it back up. And my next oldest whip is Print of the Wave by, I want to say, Unijang. And this I distinctly remember starting because I started this while I was dating the guy who is now my husband, and he was away in training. I remember working on this while sitting in his mom's backyard. So this, I actually think I have enough yarn to finish because I found the other ball of yarn. I only had this and I was putting off finishing it, and then I found this ball of yarn. So this is actually feasible to finish, which would be really cool. And this is just a random fingering weight yarn that I remember I bought it off eBay, I think. And it's got, I know it has bamboo in it, and it feels like maybe a heavy fingering weight yarn, and I think these are 6s. So the reason I'm showing you old projects is because I have a goal this year that I want to finish or frog all projects that were started before 2020. We're partway through the year. We're, you know, 6 months into the year, 6.5. And what I have left is I have the Beekeeper quilt that I showed you. I have this. I have the Aeolian shawl. I have this sweater, which I've showed you before, Dolce Vita by Marcella Chang. And that might be it. like, I think there might only be about 4 pre-2020 projects left that I have to finish, which would be awesome. I just have to actually make the decision to finish or frog them, and then finish or frog them. So that's where I'm at right now for projects. There's a lot of them. We're working on it. It's a work in progress. That is random sewing stuff for the 3 times a year that I sew things. But anyway, shop update. There's a shop update happening today. What day is today? Today is July 19th. There's a shop update happening July 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know if I'm going to have this uploaded in time for you guys to see that, but hopefully you will. In the shop update, there will be mega skeins. This is, I want to say, 350 grams of DK weight yarn, all in one skein, no knots. So this is my Zap colorway. This is about 280 grams of DK in Desert Daydream. We will have some grilled popsicles on singles, because tell me this does not look like a popsicle got stuck on the grill and started melting. Grilled popsicles. This one I have not named yet, but I really, really like it. It's pinks and blues and purples. These 2 are on my fingering weight single space. And this is a one of a kind. This is a seconds skein, which means that not seconds, what do I call it? Double dip. This is a double dip skein, which means that I still had dye left in the pot when I was finished doing this color. So I popped in an extra skein of yarn to soak up the color. Ta-da! Lots of pretty yarns. And there's multiples of these, except for this one. There's multiples of these going in, but these ones are the only ones. There's only gonna be one of each going in. So shop update tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time, July 19th. Yeah, I think that's about it for this time. Hopefully there will be finished projects to show you next time instead of just what I'm working on. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you have comments, as always, feel free to drop them in the comment box. I love to hear from you. I will answer you. We can chat. It's cool. If you want to be notified when new videos come up, like, subscribe, hit the bell. It'll let you know when I post new videos, including things like tutorials, stash updates, all that good stuff. So, thank you for watching. Have a good day.